Hello humans and welcome to another tutorial, this time on Security Breach, a recent release of ours, and if you haven't heard it so far, here's a little preview.
Security Breach.
So, and the sound I want to take a look at in this video is this wobble sound in the drop. It's like an 8-bit crushed sound, and I feel like I somehow tried to make a rhythm sound, like a pretty hard sound, but still Donkey Kong-ish, so it should sound more digital and like 8-bitty. And I think in the end it's a pretty simple patch. And here we are. It's actually not that complicated. Let me turn off all of the effects. This is how it sounds. Pretty simple wobble sound. So the most important thing is first this LFO curve. It's a little bit laid back, just I think because in this track I wanted to have that more like hip-hop bouncy feeling. So that's why I made the whole curve a little bit laid back. Then LFO the level of your basic shape. It's just a sine. It's 1 octave up. Super simple stuff. Then I added this Atmos noise. I really like these noises here because they have some kind of tonality in them. I think actually in this case I only added it to get some kind of stereo feeling. It's this weird stereo noise thingy, and I also automated the level here up. Then I used the bandpass filter, which I don't do that often actually. I feel like for many rhythm wobbles, this is like the way to go, but I don't do these sounds that often. So I use the bandpass filter. LFO is on kind of everything. I think the resonance, yeah, I mean, could have actually gone more wobble here, but it's automated down for some reason, modulated. This is now the most important part. And here I did something which I do quite often, is actually automating this filter here in your distortion unit. For once it's on 400 Hz and it has a high Q and it's on bandpass, so there's a really hard peak resonance here, which can be quite annoying but also quite interesting. I really love to play around with these resonances to create different characters in your sound which weren't there before. And also in this sound, I just have this crazy peak, which also gets downsampled afterwards. So like that, I got this kind of raspy 8-bit thingy. Also a little bit of modulation here, just a tiny bit. And you can also easily kind of change like the formant, shift it around a bit. And then the mix is also automated, and I even automated the Q here, probably to control the sound a bit more. Next up, OTT, just to make it twice as loud. Then EQing, also something I really like to do. Just 2 nice nudges here, and then I just move them around with my EQ. Makes the sound actually more mid-heavy. And yeah, not as like, I feel like before there was like a big hole in the mids, and now it sounds more balanced. And then this part is also super important. The good old reverb filter, which I don't use that much anymore, to be honest. At that time of the project, this is a quite old project, I used it a lot actually. Here it also gets modulated by our LFO. And if you switch the cutoff to different frequencies, you actually get lots of different characters for your sound. Like for example, if I use this modulation here and just change it up, get all kinds of crazy sound. And also a little bit of resonance, but it gets modulated down. And then in the end, I just added a little bit of reverb, which also gets automated down. I think this is just for taste, for your subconscious, probably. Okay, now the processing. First off, a pretty wild EQ once again. just again to sculpture the sound here until I liked it. I actually took out this big resonance that I kind of introduced in the distortion unit here. This is something I do quite often. I do one thing and then in the next plugin I kind of reverse what I did before. It's weird. Then we have Saturn, and actually all I did is here I have this mid-band, put on some old tape on this, and some heavy saturation on the highs. Next up we have this pretty aggressive EQ. First off, I just low-cutted the sound. Then I made like the whole thing louder for some reason. And I turned down the high frequencies because I think it was a bit too harsh. And one more OTT, 30%. Yeah, funny thing about the whole sound is if I actually like play it on my MIDI keyboard and I play the notes too short, I get this really crazy resonance. Which is pretty interesting. I think you can do lots of crazy sound design stuff with this. And this is the Wobble sound from Security Breach. I hope you learned something from this and you can maybe have lots of fun with this whole reverb filter wobble thingy, actually. I think I will actually play around with this right now and save some sounds that I make with this. Lots of fun, actually. And if you haven't checked it already, please check out Security Breach. Plus, there is a sample pack out on the site from Above and Below. And yeah, I think it's actually like 40, 50 samples, also some serum patches, some exclusive patches actually from us. So if you haven't already, check it out now, buy the pack. I think it's actually only $10. Would be super awesome. And see you next time.